Benefits are galore, and Mr. Clifton has thrown light on some of them. To that extent it could be repetitive, but if we have to discuss, we can perhaps stratify these benefits in 4 categories. And one of the fundamental benefit of business like yours can perhaps think of the operational benefit itself, and we will perhaps take the next slide with a little case study. So just imagine a company getting listed on stock exchange, gaining a lot of popularity, acceptability, and if we assume a 10% growth in sales out of listing, and believe me, these might be figures modified, but this has been picked up from actual listed company who have arrived or taken a lot of benefits or availed a lot of benefits out of listing. So it's not theoretical in that sense. And because it's a push in sales out of your increased popularity, a wider access to markets, the per unit cost of production is not that much. It's much lesser than your increase in sales, and as a result, the operating profits are more. Often, credit rating of the company comes to the fore, credit rating improves, and that leads to a reduced interest cost, reduced bank funding cost. Bank tends to fund more against the same collateral, and that too at a reduced rate, and that gives a lot of transformation to the profit and loss account, and again the interest cost comes down, and as a result the post-tax profits are significantly higher compared to an unlisted entity carrying the same business. So at every aspect, listing gives positive benefit. I am not here to assure that every time sales will increase 10% or every time interest will be reduced by 2%, but all I am trying to share with you is that there is a positive benefit at every aspect in your operational field, and listed entity will have superior outcome both at top line, at interest, bank funding, as well as at bottom line. So a lot of operational benefits, and balance sheet gets transformed into a much more efficient balance sheet post listing. There are a lot of tax advantages, and in India we are fascinated about tax savings. But what we are talking about here is purely tax planning and nothing else. Take any form of capital transactions relating to transfer of shares, issue of shares, buyback of shares, inviting any investor, gifting shares to the family, to the next generation, so on and so forth. Each and every transaction perhaps attracts a significant income tax of 20 to 30%, or even more with surcharge and duty, it could even go to 33%. In a listed company, all these taxes become legitimately nil as per the tax provisions, and that provides a lot of tax benefits. Crores of rupees of wealth get streamlined between brothers. Take any group, any name. It's very common in Indian context for streamlining of business based on the family constituents or based on how do you make the business succeed. If the shares are listed, the same does not attract any tax or stamp duty. A lot of times there are apprehensions in the minds of people that listed company will require increased profits, and hence the tax outgo will increase. Secondly, there will be added departmental intervention because company will come into the limelight, and perhaps that will attract income tax department scrutiny. But actually it's reverse. There is a provision in the income tax itself that all the IPO money which company is raising, it is beyond scrutiny. Department cannot question about the source of capital because we are raising public money. Number 2, it becomes a public interest entity. It has imbibed certain governance parameters. It has put in place a governance mechanism, and it is perceived to be a well-governed, well-organized, tax-paying entity compared to an unlisted entity. So in the eyes of regulators, at least prima facie, a company is much better, a listed company is much better compared to an unlisted company. Regarding taxes, the arithmetic is very simple, and those who have understood perhaps become Carnegie or Gates or Kamats of the world, and those who have not, we don't know their names. And arithmetic is very simple again. If we pay 1 crore or if we earn 1 crore of profit, how much tax we have to pay? On 1 crore of profit? 33 lakhs?
Yes.
So one option is not to show 1 crore of profit or tax plan that 1 crore of profit and save 33 lakh of tax. Another option, go this path of these people who have created success stories, pay 33 lakhs, they have not done charity or some such act by paying 33 lakhs. All those people are selfish enough, and the motto is very simple, to create wealth. In equity, more you pay, more you get valued. And how it is done? It's very simple. Value of the company is derived out of profitability, which is nothing but profit after tax. So 1 crore of profit, if it is multiplied by, let's say, 15 or 20 or 10 or 30, depending on the size or the scale or the continuity of the company and future growth, that much crores value is earned. So for 1 crore, by paying 33 lakhs, if it is valued at 20, the valuation benefit is 20 crores. And it is not notional. A lot of people say it's notional. How does it matter? At least I am paying 33 lakhs of taxes. I don't want to be out of pocket by 33 lakhs. The value what we create, market capitalization or the market value, that is not notional. That's a substitute of currency. How? You want to acquire, let's say, a new facility of 10 crore, 5 crore, 20 crore, depending on what kind of company, industry and what kind of acquisition it is. What is the consideration you can think of? You will pay cash, you will give check of that much amount and you will purchase that whatever facility or plant or land. But if you are listed and if you are valued 100 crore, rather than paying cash, you can offer your 10% shares. So you don't have to take liquidity out of your existing setup, and you can simply give 10% shares and acquire that facility. You are in need of funds, temporary funds, 5, 10, 20 crores. You don't have to go anywhere. Just pledge your shares, take money against pledge of shares. Shares act as additional collateral. You are a manpower-centric company. You want to retain your talent, and your top brass consumes 2 crores, 3 crores, 5 crores incremental compensation in terms of performance incentives and bonus. Rather than paying that in cash, you offer 1% shares. You save 5 crores of rupees of incremental bonus, they are also happy because they will eventually get more than 5 crores, but out of market, not out of the company's coffers. So the point is, whether it is acquisition, whether it is manpower cost, whether it is taking funds, shares, if listed, they act as collateral. If you need funds for your business or for other endeavors, even you can sell off in the market and raise funds. So if you need temporary funds, you can pledge. If you need permanent funds, you can sell off 5%, 10% and raise funds from the market. So by paying 1/3 of tax, we are creating 20 times value. And therefore, all the big companies, all the people who have understood this mathematics, they are always in race to show more. Companies fail by showing more, and we come across companies like Satyam, and companies succeed also by paying what they earn, and we have examples of Infosys, Wipro in the same sector. So idea is not to show just for the sake of it, but idea is whatever the company earns, if we bring on to the books, if we do not give too much of weightage on tax planning, rather we should create wealth value. So we have to migrate from tax model to wealth model, and the day we take that approach, market is there with red carpet welcome to fund the company, to take it to the next level and to grow along with the company. So the foremost benefit other than operational benefit is tax, and coupled with that is next is wealth creation. Next. So if you look at some of these numbers, that when we talk of this 20 times, 10 times, 30 times wealth, has it actually happened? The answer is definitely yes. Have people raised money at this valuation, or it has remained only a notional wealth? The answer is yes, definitely we have raised funds at the current valuation. So if you take example of the first company, 10 crore was the net worth pre-IPO. Today the market capital is more than 500 crores, and at today's valuation we have raised crores of rupees for that company. And funds like BlackRock, Quantum, value investors, a lot of HNIs, if you check the exchange website, there are a lot of deals which are there in public domain. So it is nothing, any secret I am talking about. And in just 2 years' time, the company has migrated onto the main board, and it has created huge wealth of more than 500 crores for entire stakeholders, set of shareholders. Another company, second company from Gujarat, very small company compared to the first one, turnover less than 40 crores, 6 crore was the net worth. We got it listed at 36 with an initial market capital of approximately 30 to 32 crores, and today the market capital is 170 crores. Sometime back it was even more than 200 crore. So we often used to say that every working day company is getting valued 1 crore more. So even Whitley restaurant, we got it listed at 10 rupees. I think it was listed on Feb, and today the company's script is more than 30. So 3 times return, 3 times wealth. And that's the entire benefit we are talking about in terms of wealth creation. So the kind of efforts we all are putting in business, the kind of sweating we are doing for establishment of business over decades, over generations, but we somehow ignore the valuation part of it. Now, should we necessarily value it and sell off? That is something which we can take a decision. But whole idea is to bring that public participation, to take it to the public, dilute at least the minimum, and by diluting 25%, some of those questions which we have discussed at the beginning, that my company will be taken over, confidentiality will lose, nothing happens. Mathematically, 75% shares remain with the promoters. So it's not possible for anybody to take over any company just like that. And more importantly, there is not a single instance of hostile takeover in India, because in India the business protection laws are very strong. We have a takeover code laid out by SEBI which protects any hostile takeover just like that. This platform is all about the benefit and growth of companies like yours. It can't afford to ask any confidential information, any trade secret, any formula which will rather hinder the growth. So it's very simple that yes, there are some basic disclosures required in terms of the board composition, in terms of your financials, most of which in any case is in public domain, whether with Registrar of Companies, Ministry of Corporate Affairs or with the Income Tax Department. And incremental disclosures are more out of a discipline, more seeking information how your business is largely done. But believe me, there is no such secret or formula or customers list, etc., which is sought by exchange to be disclosed. So don't worry about any confidentiality or any such apprehension. That there absolutely it's not the case. And other than that, there are a lot of benefits: branding, goodwill, succession. So some of which we have discussed and some of which you can perhaps visualize. There are companies which after listing on SME platforms, they have been even able to negotiate the way they want to negotiate. And one small example I'll give, one of the companies which we discussed, the company is into customized cable production. Since it's into customized, it needs to have some kind of assurance, some kind of advance from customers, because it is tailor-made cables. If that party doesn't take the order, then what the company will do with that particular cable, because it is customized to the need of that particular customer. But before listing, so I was just sitting with the promoter after listing, that what is that one change which the business has experienced? And the answer was like this, that earlier they had to negotiate very hard with the customers. Customers always used to feel it's an unlisted entity, whether the goods will be delivered on time, whether it will be up to mark. So there was always discussion that company will start with 10-15% advance, then customers will say, no, I'll give only 2%, 3%. So there was always some discussion. But after listing, as per the promoter himself, this has become a non-discussion. So people are happy paying more, but they will rather negotiate on the rates and timelines and such things, because they perceive the company is a listed company. So what is the question? In any case, they have to pay after, let's say, 30 days or 40 days. So might as well they pay some more and take better rates out of it. So this whole small thing, but perhaps transform the entire business model. So if you are listed, a lot of times it gives a lot of that negotiation part with bankers, with customers, with dealers, and that gives a lot of competitive advantage by which perhaps we can grow much faster. It cannot be perhaps quantified in monetary terms, but yes, I just thought I'll just make a mention of this particular advantage, and a lot of such companies are taking benefit. There are even examples of companies which are existing in any remote areas of Maharashtra, Gujarat. They were not even banks were not even encouraged to open a simple bank account with those companies, because no collateral, no tangible assets, small outfit. They will have some idea of biofuel, hybrid seed, agro-based, which could perhaps be taken to a very, very great heights, but because of their exposure, lack of exposure, because of their upbringing, because of whatever, banks, a lot of follow-ups they will need, etc., etc. And believe me, there are companies without naming. Once we file that prospectus with exchange, the same bankers have rushed to the company and forget about opening accounts. They have offered various kind of facilities, working capital, term loan, etc. at reduced rate of interest. So that's the kind of advantages a lot of times SME units are deriving after listing. So this is all about, in terms of what all benefits and how these benefits are being availed by companies after listing. I think we'll skip this part because we are behind schedule, and this is more of technical part. All I can say is that as merchant bankers we completely handhold. So don't worry about whether the entity is a proprietorship or a partnership, or you are having, let's say, 4 entities doing the same business, or you are having various set of promoter owners, whether within the family, outside the family. These are all common issues, and the idea is to create a growth-oriented, sustainable platform. And during this process, we streamline all these things in terms of whether it's a proprietorship, partnership, whether it's a 5 unit, 7 unit. We consolidate, streamline, and a lot of times, a lot of consultants will come to you and say that, okay, consolidation will need High Court approval, it's 6 months process. Nothing like that. There are various ways in which business can be structured. There are even ways in which a week will take only to consolidate all the businesses. So not necessarily that it will need High Court approval. So whatever is being talked about, whatever is being told to you, it's not always the only option. So have just open mind, and you can more we discuss with us, perhaps we can give better solution, an efficient solution, structure the business, handhold the business through the IPO process, both at pre-IPO, post-IPO, and take it to the logical conclusion of taking it to the public and getting it listed on the exchange. These questions, most of them we have discussed in terms of, so they are more of apprehensions. I will not term them as questions. These are more hearsay or what we read generally or come to know from each other. But believe me, none of these are actual hindrance or barriers. And had that been the case, perhaps these entities would not, those who have been listed at various stages, those would not have come forward. Even there are cases where second company, third company from the same group that is coming and getting listed. So Valentine Group, we have seen 3 listings. Captain Pipes, we have seen 2 listings. So there are a lot of such examples where from the same group 2 to 3 companies are getting and listing, and that shows that yes, how easy it was for those promoters and how beneficially it was for those businesses. So this is more of, so perhaps this will give you the clear picture of, in terms of how it flows. We have to structure the capital, we can we'll do the diligence, we'll do the valuation in terms of what will be the IPO. So each and everything in terms of structuring the business, valuing the business, doing the diligence, preparing the prospectus, taking exchange approval, taking it to public, everything is kind of taken care of, and entrepreneur or business is not required to go from door to door in seeking various solutions. Everything will be taken care of in the process. And all these processes, entire process can be and is actually completed in sometimes even in less than 3 months. So that's the kind of time frame. It has been made very efficient and very easy in this entire scheme of SME IPOs. So I think this is this all I think we can skip. So 3 to 4 months, and regardless of the current form of entity, we can actually explore listing. What will be the value? What could be the wealth creation after listing? It's something which we have to look at the particular balance sheet and then we can discuss. All I can say is that 8 to 10 times of wealth creation these companies have witnessed. A lot of times a question comes, before just conclusion I will touch upon this aspect. What has so great happened in 1 year of listing or 2 years of listing that companies' prices have gone 10 times? Isn't it manipulated? Because stocks are concentrated in lesser hands, market maker is there. So it seems that everything is, manipulated. Easier said than done. It's very simple. That balance sheets are understated because it is on historic basis. And number 2, the base is so small that even with 5 crore, 10 crore of growth funding, businesses can actually double or triple. And that fuels the growth. So it's not that what we see after 1 year is more, but what the company gets listed is less. It is highly undervalued, and that's the whole purpose and that's where we call it value unlocking. Whatever value which is locked in a balance sheet in the form of book net worth, the fair value is perhaps 10 times, 20 times. So if a 5 crore balance sheet, 5 crore of net worth, definitely the value certainly is not 5 crore. Its value is 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, and that's the whole objective of taking such company to listing and valuing it at fair market value. And that's where it is attracted towards, it's attracting a lot of investors and it's attracting a lot of companies. So this is a great opportunity. Crores of rupees of cost has been curtailed to a few lakhs, and lengthy processes have been curtailed to just a matter of 2 to 3 months. And a lot of compliances like preparing the quarterly results, publishing it into the papers, preparation of physical annual reports, circulating to the shareholders, all those compliances where cost is involved, where administration is involved, many of them have been exempted and relaxed for SME units. What we need is half-yearly accounting, limited reviewed report, and that too it has to be emailed to the exchange and put up on the website. So that's the kind of thoughtful regime is laid down even for compliances post-listing. So not only that pre-IPO eligibility and norms have been relaxed, but even post-listing recurring compliances have also been relaxed to make it more facilitative and friendly to growing units, and that's the whole idea. And lastly, a lot of times we feel, dekh lenge, we'll see, we'll take it up later on. Right now I'm traveling to China, right now I'm going out, my audit is... So every time the human psychology will be to defer a particular opportunity, but as the name goes, opportunity is opportunity, it doesn't last long, and it's happening. Earlier the minimum eligibility was only 1 crore of capital. It has now been tripled by BSE and made it 3 crores. For a new company it's 5 crores. Finance companies are now restricted, they can no longer be listed on SME platform practically. So all I'm trying to say is that it should not become a moving target, and moreover, once we get listed, as of now it's certain that after 2 years the company will get migrated to the main board, which is perhaps the dream of any business. So we should take the optimum benefit of this platform on time, proactively, without it, before it becomes kind of a moving target or the costs get increased, because more and more number of companies coming and getting listed, perhaps the criteria will keep on getting tightened. So we have got listed maximum number of companies in SME platform, and many of those script, I will not say all, but most of them have given superior returns, and business wise they are creating great milestones in terms of further business capacity expansion, so on and so forth. A lot of M&A is also happening in those stocks. So idea of this workshop was to share a brief of how this opportunity has come and knocking to our doors, and here is the time perhaps to take the optimum benefit of this platform on immediate basis, so that we get listed and we also participate in the growth, not only for our company, our shareholder, but for the entire nation. With this, thank you very much, and questions are welcome.
500 industrialists, which include the team of industrialists. He will share his experience on the mindset of these entrepreneurs and what are the attributes that help them in building world-class companies. His subject today is DNA of successful entrepreneur. I welcome Mr. Ravi.
Having me here. It is always very tricky for the last speaker, because you come between the drink and the dinner. So I will try to make it a little interesting. First, the caveat, I am not a businessman, I am a business journalist. So whatever I am saying today is my personal view and observation. It's not attributed to my channel or the places I worked earlier. journalism is a great profession. I don't make great money like the Kamath and the Cliftons here. But it's a passport to meet all kinds of people. And I've been very fortunate to meet people like Dhirubhai Ambani, J.R.D. Tata, Ratan Tata, Sunil Mittal, Anand Mahindra. I don't want to tell them what is the attitude of these successful people, but they leave a very lasting impression on you. They are iconic business leaders like Narayana Murthy, Nandan Nilekani. So I too got carried away by these people while I was a business journalist. So I also entered business in the year 1984. For 5 years I did business and I was to my last quarter. I failed miserably. Mark Twain said, if you are ignorant and confident, you can go places. I was both, but I was zero. So I got back to doing what I was doing well. I got back into journalism. But I must say here I was in a very good company because Big B, Amitabh Bachchan, also started a business called ABC here. He failed miserably. He came back with doing a game show called KBC and he's doing what he's very good at, and that is acting. So, on a very serious note, as was introduced, I've interviewed many people in my last 30 years in business journalism. I'm doing a series called Making It Big on CNBC TV 18. It is into season 7. If anybody wants to see it, you can go on the website called makingitbig.in. I've interviewed about 18 to 100 companies there. So what this series is all about, it chronicles the success story of an entrepreneur. So how he started, from 0 to 5,000 crore. What are the odds he faces? What are the hurdles? It could be family feud, it could be technology problem, it could be money problem. I think mostly the SMEs have money problem. But in all these things, in what I call in the adversity, these people seek opportunity and they made it big in their world of business. So what separates men from the boys is what makes people like us go to them, and I'm seeing a lot of people sitting here also, the future entrepreneurs, future icon in business, I would say that. The way he was talking today about the listing, and I see a lot of appetite for listing by many entrepreneurs. I saw that 140 companies already on the BSE SME exchange. So the whole nation suddenly, post-liberalization, I see that everybody wants to make money. And why not? If you can make it legitimately. So I've cherry-picked some stories for the audience here, and they are all listed companies. But all these companies, I personally went and interviewed them, they touched me very immensely. One such company is the Delhi-based company, KRBL. It's a world's largest rice miller, and they export basmati rice in the name of India Basmati. It's called India Gate, sorry. And also they got brand like Aarti, Nurjan. They have something like 40% market share. Now, it is headed by a man called Anil Kumar Mittal. So what is unique about this company? The unique thing about this company is, during the time of partition, these people were in Pakistan. At that point of time, they had 10 cotton spinning mills, 2 rice mills, 16 commission agents, and 1 bank. But during the time of partition, they had to leave everything behind, come to Delhi. On the streets of Delhi near India Gate, they had to start their living again. From 1947 to today, 2016, they grown into a 3,000 crore company. Now, what is the moral of the story of this man, Mittal family? They did not look at the past. They did not look for the sympathy. They rebuilt their empire over a period of time. It took them time. They got slowly into trading. From trading, they went into something. And finally, they are having 40% market share. So this kind of story impresses all of us, including journalists like me. And it's tempting enough for somebody to start their own business. If we can do it, why can't I? So they become a kind of a beacon for a lot of people. The second story that is equally impressive is Alchem Laboratory, which got listed recently. Now I met this gentleman some 3 years back. He was 87-year-old. His name is Samprada Singh. All his life he wanted to become a doctor, but he did not get good marks while studying. So he said, how do I be very close to the healthcare sector? So he said, the next best thing is he became a commerce graduate. Let me work in a medical store or pharmacy unit. So in Bihar, he worked in a pharmacy unit, but he was very clear he wanted to be a part of the healthcare sector, so he kept working, and finally came to Bombay. In Bombay, again, he went various places, did some trading in medicines and all those things. Finally, he had guts enough to set up his company called Alchem Laboratories. It went on well till he found a big breakthrough. He made an antiseptic drug called Taxil, and that was a game changer for the company. Today, this company is, I think, nearly 4,000 crore company, and they are top 10 pharma companies in the country. There are multinational and there is Desi company. So it feels you very good that this man is a Desi homespun hero, that how could he do without any support. It was a right to riches story. And when you look at it, it is about 5,000 employees, 17 manufacturing plants today, 4 R&D units. He has given MNCs a run for the money. Now again, the moral of the story here is, Mr. Samprada Singh was very clear where he wanted to go and how he wanted to go. He did not lose focus. As they say in the epic hero Arjuna, he only saw the bird's eye. So did Samprada Singh. So this story really excited us, so we did a half an episode on that. The story of the other, actually, all cargo logistics. It has a turnover of 5,600 crore today and presence in 90 countries. The founder of this company, Shashikaran Shetty, was in the news very recently, about a year back, because he acquired Rajesh Khanna, the late superstar's bungalow called Ashirwad. But if you look at his beginning, Shashikaran Shetty, at the age of 21 he left Mangalore. I'm sure most of you are from Mangalore know about him. He came to Bombay because his family was in big trouble, financial trouble. He came to Bombay and he took the first job that came his way, and that happened to be a logistic firm. He put his head down and worked there for 4 years. But I think he always had a business acumen, I think. 4 years later, he set up his own business, I think sometime in 1984-85. He set up trading, he set up his own logistic firm. It was going very well, and I think there he also found a niche in the logistic business. He did what is called as now, you take a less than container business. Some people had exporters and importers would not have a full container. So you aggregate them, and so his business was doing well. Then he's also representing a Belgian firm called EQ Lines. This firm got taken over by somebody, was going through a very bad patch, and finally Shashikaran Shetty went and acquired it. It was a company at least 10 times this size, I think. So this again is a very success story, and you feel very proud that here is a man who did it on his own. He had no support system. He was all self-made man. So again, the moral of the story to be, he was very focused. And he grew both organically and inorganically, or by what we call bio, or what we call ML. And the fifth story which I told is Balaji Wafers, is an Ahmedabad-based company. The gentleman is Chandubai Virani. This man left his village in Jamnagar and did not come to Mumbai, but he went to Rajkot to seek his fortune. And there was nothing available in Rajkot. So he worked in a theatre as a doorkeeper and selling wafers and sandwiches. So he kept on doing for many years. Then the eureka moment came to him. He said, why don't I make wafers? And today the company's turnover is something like 1,200 crore turnover. In 1982 it was 50,000. So the moral of the story of this man is, oftentimes you find solution in the very environment you are growing. But you tend to ignore instead to look at other peer group pressures. So these are the stories that really impressed me. So one big question to all people succeed in business, we saw yes and no. Amitabh Bachchan did not succeed in the business because that was not his core competence. But he realized that, and he went back to what he did, what he's very good at, acting. And so I went back to journalism. People like me. So, and there are also stories like, some people like Sylvester Stallone. He had the script of Rocky. I don't know how many people know about it. When he went to all those famous studios, Universal, Sony and all these things, that here I got a wonderful script called Rocky. I should be the hero, can you produce it? All the producers laughed. Universal, Columbia Pictures. But he had a conviction that this will sell. He became a hero. And today we know Rocky has 1, 2, 3, 4, many sequels to it. So all these guys are focus and conviction. I think passion, that is very important. So when I look at the success mantras of about 100 companies which I have personally interviewed, there are 8 to 10 things that stand out, or most of them. I'm going to read out this. I don't know how many people. Most people, entrepreneurs say, think it through before starting a project. Once you start it, don't look back. You should have a strong mission statement. Keep innovating to stay ahead of the curve. Aim to be among the top 3 players. Stay focused. Don't get swayed by the peer group pressure. And that is a big unbecoming of the corporate world. That is a great corporate race. He's setting up this, he's setting up this, and then suddenly you find that in 3-4 years time the company goes belly up. So don't do that. Then stick to knitting. Use both build and buy to grow your business. Learn from mistake and learn to give a business that you are not doing well actually. There should be no emotion. You know, a lot of businessmen sell their business. Whether it is Rand Baxi or Ajay Piramal, they sold the business. There is no emotion attached. For them, everything is profit. Then if you concentrate on the top line, you will get into all kinds of trouble and it will destroy shareholders' value. Be simple, transparent and trustworthy. All these values need to be practiced on an everyday basis. Now why I am saying is be ethical organization. We know what happened to Subroto Roy. We know what happened to Jignesh Shah. I think there is no shortcut to success. I always tell people like Nandan Nilekani, they are worth 7,000 crore, but it's all legitimate money. People from Infosys, all of them have made legitimate money. People who go for shortcut in business or in profession, that will not last forever. Sooner or later you will have to pay the price. And that's very important for me. It's also, the other mantra is surround yourself with a team of specialists and empower them. And never lose focus of your customers. All your vision and mission statement should be centered around the customers. Keep doing SWOT constantly. And finally, passion, conviction and hard work. There is no such thing called overnight success. I was interviewing the Havells CEO, the man who passed away. So he said overnight success as he defines is 25 years of hard work and commitment. Now I also listed out why companies fail. There are many reasons. The one reason is family feud. We have seen that a lot of people, a lot of business families are split in this country. So that is one of the reasons business fail. Over leveraging the balance sheet. Lloyd's Steels got into Lloyd's Finance, Lloyd's Realty, Lloyd's Pharma, and in recent time we know about JP Associates, JP Cement, JP, and they all start selling everything. So that is one problem. Uncharted diversification because of peer group pressure. That business is not core to the company. People start one business and say, "Arey, paisa bahut hai, so let me get into real estate, let me get into movie making," and then suddenly one fine morning you started with a huge debt, and then you want to allocate industry one classic story. From textile they got into real estate and they had to start selling their real estate business also. The company is not abreast with technology. Those companies also fail. Now the classic case that comes to my mind is Kodak got killed because of mobile phones. Kodak could not anticipate that mobile phone would replace the digital camera would replace films. So I think they were behind the curve in that sense. Complacency. Now, I was interviewing Rajiv Bajaj. He said one of the reasons they were number one and why they became number two is they started selling only scooters. They were not making motorcycles. Hero Motor, that time Hero Honda, they came with motorcycle and they took them and they were the fast lane. He did the course correction, but it was too late. He's still number two. So he said we were very complacent that what we know the business well, but it was not so. And not timing the market. I think timing the market is very, very important. We all know the ceasefire. Fire extinguisher also. The same gentleman made something called vacuumizer for this country, but 20 years back. People did not have fridge at home, but he made his vacuumizer and it bombed. He put some 50, 100 crore. He also passed away. It bombed completely and it became a BFR case. So these are the reasons why companies fail. So to sum it up, what are the success attributes of these people who make it big? I think it is hard work, They work hard, they work smart, they work long. Now, Marisa Mayer, ex-Yahoo, she works for 150 hours a week. Jack Immelt of GE, he works for 100 hours a week that he was doing for last 25 years. Narendra Modi works for 126 hours a week. I think he works for 18 hours a week, I think. So which is why they are famous and they are able to deliver. So before I go, I got a nice quote I thought we should read. The dream is not what you see in your sleep. The dream is not what you see in your sleep. Dream is the thing which does not let you sleep. And that is what separated men from the boys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony Sequeira, Chairman of Christian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for giving us an opportunity to interact with such speakers at this alternate capital raising platforms. Thank you, Mr. Clifton De Silva, for being the architect to really put this program together as you have done for so many other times. Thank you very much, and give them a hand, please. Mr. Vikram Kamath, you said it is very important to understand the unknown, only then can we engage with it and actually be able to transact. Yes, listing a company is something which can be quite frightening for MSME owner, and you, by sharing your own personal experience, made us aware that how we can actually go through it. You also put it very nicely saying, play in the same arena as the big boys. So thank you for raising our standards. Mr. Mahavir Lunawat, thank you for demystifying the entire process that is involved in listing, making us aware of the criteria, what are the implications of the same, and putting it in very simple and very comforting language so that we are open to experiencing and going through this particular process. And lastly, I thank Mr. A.P. Ravi for sharing all your experiences that you have had in interviewing the entrepreneurs, and for the insights that you got from mixing with them. Once again, I thank all of us who have come here to make this a grand success. Thank you very much. And Mr. Kamath, thank you for your hospitality on this occasion. Thank you very much.
Anyway, only one last announcement. This is particularly for the members of Christian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. On 5th August, we are having Board of Directors and Conveners meeting at Hotel Atithi. There also I request you to come in large number. And on that day, we are having one more fantastic session. It is by Dr. Arunagiri, okay, who has conducted till now more than 10,000 seminars. 10,000, I am repeating, not is a zero mistake. Okay, and the subject what is going to speak is the path of perpetual growth and personal excellence. Contents will cover the elements of both business enhancement and personal growth. Thank you. Now all are requested to join for cocktail and dinner. Thank you.